Alright, so this thing doesn't work very well. The computer's old. I literally bought this computer right after Natalie died, very specifically with the intent and purpose of showing evidence in the situation, saving it. That's because the computer that I had, well, Broomfield Police Department still has it. They never gave it back. I come to expect it from the police that they're not going to tell the truth. They're not going to keep their word. The cops here did everything they could to help my predators. Nothing I can do to stop that. I spent 15 months incarcerated on BS. So some of you might already know I recorded some people doing some pretty heinous stuff. One of those guys came at me with a pipe more than once. Now let's get to the Natalie Bollinger thing. The evidence that I have shows that this is bullshit, but I've shared it with so many people in the hopes that those people would share it with others, that those people would help turn it in with me. Everybody wants to argue or pretend like I don't know what I'm talking about. Here's what the mentally ill tag does. It takes away all of your rights. I should have had a trial within 60 days of being arrested. They never should have charged me with felonies. The most they could have charged me with is misdemeanors, but none of my attorneys wanted to do their jobs. They just wanted to get paid. They also wanted to lie about situations a lot. Now, there's a lot of recordings, but you might not know this about public records. You got to have money to buy it. You have to purchase these things from the police and sheriff's department. $90 for a video, $70 for redacting, plus there's a fee every 15 minutes that they have a deputy working on it. Now here's the thing. With Natalie Bollinger, my side has never been heard. And he popped out a bunch of crap. Did they ever bother to try hearing my side? No, they didn't. Did they bother looking at any of the evidence? No, they didn't. Matter of fact, the parts that I saw, they took little bits and pieces. See, there's a difference between looking at evidence and trying to frame somebody, trying to make somebody look like a bad guy. I reacted to being abused. That doesn't make me a bad person. You guys think I'm horrible because I yell and scream sometimes. Well, that's what gets you guys to listen, and that's sad. If it doesn't fit what you want, you're not going to hear it. Same thing goes with the police. Same thing goes with mental health. If the police tell mental health that you're mentally ill, mental health isn't going to listen to a thing you have to say. If the police say one thing and you say another, it doesn't matter that you're telling the truth. You're not a police officer. Nobody's going to fucking listen to you. You're called mentally ill. This is something that predators do to their victims frequently and often. That's why the disabled are almost the most victimized people in America. The homeless got it worse. And then there's the Natalie Bollinger crap. Now, Natalie Bollinger was not afraid that I would hurt her. She was afraid that people would believe me. Now, these guys try to paint me out as a stalker who couldn't take no for an answer. That's not what the evidence shows. The evidence shows that I was a good friend. Her own words show that when she was under the age of 18, I did not want her around. Her sister's evidence shows the same exact thing. We were not friends when they were kids. They should not have been hanging out there. And I let them know that. They should not have been hanging out with homeless heroin addicts. What would you do if you saw some little girls hanging out, running off in the bushes with adult heroin addicts? I would hope that you would say something. Now, this one right here, it's from the Crime Echo. It's from 3 days ago. Let's play this.
That was the last message Natalie Bollinger ever sent. Minutes later, she vanished. She was just 19, kind, empathetic, always helping strangers. One winter day in Colorado.
Now, mind you, she was on heroin. A lot of people are on drugs these days. The chances of you not knowing anyone who's on drugs is, well, you'd have to live in a bubble in the middle of nowhere. So, of course, they're bringing up a picture of me. This is after I've been assaulted by the police, assaulted by the public, and falsely arrested. This is in Colorado.
Kindness led her to cross paths with a homeless man named Sean Schwartz. She gave him a coat, listened to his story, even let him follow her on social media. She thought she was...
All right, now that's not what happened. It's a story they want to tell. Of course, there's literally thousands of these by now, and none of them tell the same story. None of them care if they're telling the same story. None of them care if they're telling the truth. Now, I've seen so many of these situations play out. All my life, I've gotten to see how we've got situations where both sides are heard, and then I've got to deal with situations where they want to call you mentally ill. They played on bias this entire situation. Mentally ill, mentally ill. If they call you mentally ill, they can drag out your court dates for forever. I have a whole bunch of psychological evaluations I did while I was in Tillamook County Jail being abused for 15 months. 15 months I was incarcerated from that. Now I'm going to bring up Deputy Taylor here. Now, what do these nut jobs want to pretend I'm delusional over? These police want to keep telling mental health people that I'm delusional, trying to make it so that nobody will listen to me. Mentally ill. They did that at least 7 times, just so you know. This one is from 6/19/2024. And it says, this is a inmate request form. This is Deputy Taylor. I am treated like I am delusional over 4 things you can verify are true. 1, A&E murder on the 21st, Season 1, Episode 1 from September 2023 exists. Number 2, Sword and Scale, Episodes 109 and 110 exist from January 2018. Number 3, both are true crime shows that reference me, my name, and my picture in connection to a murder I did not commit. 4, both shows are popular and widely distributed on the internet. I would like written verification from Deputy Taylor these 4 things are true. And Deputy Taylor wrote at the bottom, action taken. I can confirm that both shows exist and use your name. I know the A&E special shows your face. However, I do not know if Sword and Scale does because it is a podcast. A&E is a popular channel, and Sword and Scale I believe to be popular as well within the true crime audiences. Sorry, folks. Let me see. I'm not sure if you can read that all. Receiving Deputy 277. That is Deputy Taylor. So on the other side here, this is from 3/23/2025. Deputy Taylor, please verify in writing that 1. You knew who I was from internet true crime shows years before you met me. 2. The show That Chapter is an Irishman, and on his episode about Natalie Bollinger, he says my name and shows my face. Number 3, the That Chapter episode about Natalie, I was posted while I've been in Tillamook County Jail, 2024. You, Lacey Hawkins, and myself spoke about the situation with the use of Natalie Bollinger here in the jail. We did have that conversation, and I'm currently trying to get the video camera of that from Deputy Taylor's body camera. Number 5, Natalie Bollinger was killed by Joseph Lopez in Colorado in 2017. He wrote in Action Taken, I do not know when I first heard your name. It is possible it was years before our first encounter. 2, 4, and 5, all of these are accurate. The host of That Chapter, I believe is Irish based on his accent. Please forgive my mumbling and fumbling and stumbling. Number 3, the video in question was posted on 2/16/24, receiving Deputy 277. So again, that's Deputy Taylor. I've got some from a lot of deputies, matter of fact. This right here is what opened the road for me. Deputy Taylor, him and his sister watch true crime. He wants to be an investigator. He wants to catch villains, basically. And we do need to look at it that way. I'm not talking about jaywalkers. I'm talking about human traffickers. I'm talking about wife beaters, child molesters. Be ever vigilant. The thing with Natalie Bollinger, let's start this one a little bit further back. Oh, come on now, that didn't work. Sorry, folks.
The next text I got from her was someone's at the door. That was the last message Natalie Bollinger ever sent. Minutes later, she vanished. She was just 19, kind, empathetic, always helping strangers. One winter day in Colorado, that kindness led her to cross paths with a homeless man named Sean Schwartz. She gave him a coat. Listen to his story.
They spelled my name wrong, first of all, but second of all, it didn't start with a coat. To my knowledge, Natalie Bollinger never gave me a coat. They're just making it up as they go along. No, Natalie Bollinger and I became friends when she was an adult. She didn't allow me to follow her on Facebook. Her and her sister both insisted that I send them friend requests and send them messages and hit them up on Facebook. The stuff about how she just listened to my story. No, she was helpful after I injured my back. Whereas everybody else seems to just want to forget about it. Pretend that giving me advice and telling me what to do, think, and feel is going to fix it. The problem is I told a true story. A lot of true stories. Problem is, police were so interested in hiding the fact that they screwed up before Natalie was killed. Did Deputy Taylor screw up over Natalie Bollinger's death? Did he have anything to do with that case at all? No.
Even let him follow her on social media. She thought she was helping. But to Sean, it was more than kindness. It was fate. He became obsessed. Cryptic posts.
Fate. He became obsessed. What do you mean, fate? I don't believe in fate. We all live our lives. We all make decisions. What happens down the road is going to be based on those decisions. And those decisions may not necessarily be yours. Now, I know we're supposed to have this bullshit in our heads where we blame the wrong people. Or we got to just blame ourselves. It's all our fault. It's all our decisions. No, when other people are mean to you, they chose to be mean. When other people are cruel to you, they chose to be cruel. When people look the other way, and that right there is the major sin in this situation. When they want to tell you that they care, but then look the other way. And it's also saying I was sending cryptic posts.
Long rants. He called her his destiny. He followed her.
Really? When did I call her my destiny? What is this crap? And it says True Crime Daily US. You don't care if it's true. Why would they? They call me mentally ill and say, oh, we're not going to listen to him. He's mentally ill. He's going to tell us that it was a pink alligator that did it. He's going to blame it on evil CIA alien brainwave rays. No. I'm autistic, not schizophrenic. By the way, speaking of, now, of course, I didn't finish this because I pulled out this bag to show you some of the evidence I got. Now, of course, there are multiple situations where I had to try to get a hold of Tillamook Family Counseling Center. Oh, here's some evidence right here of the guy who came at me with a pipe being very cruel to myself and to some women. Not a very nice guy. Of course, we've also got an evaluation here by Dr. Leslie Carter. And she was one of the last ones. She's also an autism specialist. And yes, she says I'm autistic. That's on, let me see. I think it's on most pages. But the thing is that these are, all of them are 13 pages long. I don't know what that's about. I got pretty good scores on a lot of this stuff. Let me see. Percentile. That's how high of a score that you get in it. If there was 100 people in the room, if you're the 99th percentile, then that means you're smarter than 99% of the people in the room, or better at a particular subject than 99% of the people in the room. My general ability is 98th percentile. Verbal comprehension, perceptual reasoning, 99th percentile. Verbal comprehension information, 95th percentile. Perceptual reasoning, 98th percentile on the block design, 95 on matrix reasoning, 99 on visual puzzles. There's actually a bunch of these tests I did. But basically, this whole idea that I must be some completely delusional idiot doesn't know what's going on. Oh, we're not going to bother looking at Sean's side. We're just going to tell whatever story that we want to tell, resulting in an innocent man A disabled man who was targeted by some drug addicts and their friends because they were embarrassed. That's the reality of the situation. Now, listen right here, like my other evaluations, does not say that I'm schizophrenic. Matter of fact, it states very loudly and clearly that I am not schizophrenic nor delusional. Same thing with Dr. James Picanu of the Oregon State Hospital. He says I am not schizophrenic nor delusional. Now, of course, when we get into all this, all these test scores and all this other weird stuff, all these signatures and so on and so forth, like this is what people care about. Let's see. It says I have post-traumatic stress disorder, PTSD, autism spectrum disorder without intellectual impairment but with communication issues and moderate support needs, and major depressive disorder, moderate recurrent. Now, the major depressive thing, if you guys hadn't lived through this, you'd be depressed too. Lucky me, I went through this as a child. I grew up in the system because my parents couldn't stay off of cocaine. I got video after video of people harassing me since I got out of jail. Mind you, I was in jail for 15 months because a man who came at me with a pipe did it not just once, but twice. Sorry, 2 separate occasions. He swung it a lot more than twice. And that's not okay. This is a man who I recorded in a situation where he was attempting to sexually abuse somebody. That's not okay either. So I'm going to have to make block segments and try to explain the whole situation, the whole story. Try to unlock all of my email, my YouTube, my Facebook, all of that stuff. I got to pay some money to get my email thing. I got to wait for my disability money to come in for that. I got to order more evidence from the police station. Sorry, Sheriff's Department. Because these people, they just don't want to tell the truth.
Uninvited. She got scared and filed
It says he followed her uninvited. I didn't follow her anywhere uninvited. I went to Virginia to see Natalie Bollinger because she was going to kill herself if I didn't. When I told Leslie Carter that, she said, well, that's emotional, not emotional hostage, but emotional something or other. It's some kind of abuse. Emotional blackmail, that's what she said. Now, what did Natalie do after that phone call? Well, within an hour, she ran her car into a telephone pole, trying to kill herself. Now, of course, there's the reality of the situation that you guys don't want to hear. And then there's this crap. Crap where I was denied my rights, lied to repeatedly. The police kept on changing their lives. They just didn't want to do the work. They didn't want to help a fucking retard, and that's how they treat me, like I'm a retard, like I am a schizophrenic, drug addict retard. No. That is not okay. They take me to the hospital and tell the hospital that I'm mentally ill. And I have to try to get the hospital workers to listen to me. This is why people who are disabled, especially on the spectrum, need a friend or family member to vocalize with them immediately. They need a friend or family member to find out what's going on and help to turn it in. Now, I've got plenty of evidence here showing that all sorts of different places, from Nicole Peralta at Region 1 to TFCC here in Tillamook, omitted a lot of stuff. They left out a lot of important information. At first, I had to deal with some people who wanted to pretend that I was schizophrenic and delusional because they didn't want to get in trouble. They already knew the situation with Natalie Bollinger was very real. They were just trying to cover for their buddies, which happens. I went to CARE repeatedly. I went to Tides of Change. I went to Northwest Senior and Disability Services. I went to Tillamook Family Counseling Center. I went to all these different places. And they sent me around in circles and talked in circles. Let's play some more of this.
6 days later, she texted her boyfriend, "Someone's at the door," and then silence. Her things were still there. Her purse, her charger. But Natalie was gone. When police arrived, there were no signs of a break-in, no struggle, just an empty room. And that haunting final text, everyone thought it was Sean. But the truth was far more disturbing because someone else had been texting Natalie, someone no one saw coming. If you're drawn to true crime with shocking twists, follow us, because this story is just beginning.
The last text I got from her was simple.
Now, she had a boyfriend named Joey Moreno. I know a Joe Moreno here in town. Here in Tillamook. Not the same guy. Because of Deputy Taylor and several other deputies in there, people like Leslie Carter, instead of just assuming that I was schizophrenic and delusional, looked into it. What's the difference between the people that are allowed in court to railroad me and the ones that aren't allowed in court? Well, the ones that aren't allowed in court are the ones who know what the fuck is going on. And my court date, I finally dragged this shit out to trial. With that guy who came at me with the pipe. And by the way, that was over the Natalie Bollinger situation too. All of the abuse that I endure is because of the situation with Natalie Bollinger. Being bullied by the police. Being bullied by the public. Over shit like that. Nobody cares if it's true. Nobody cares if it's true. I've been trying to show this evidence for years, and I've been sending it out to people who say that they've got the ability to show somebody. So I send it to them, and they never show anybody. For a lot of these people, I come to realize that they really only get a hold of me and talk to me when they're messed up on drugs or alcohol, or want drugs or alcohol, or they want attention. Like complaining about their lives to me is going to help me. No, it doesn't. I'm not just complaining about my life. I'm letting people know what's going on. There's a few deputies that I had issues with that were also helpful in the jail here, like Deputy Jungling. I don't think that's a job for him, though. I got some stuff in here from Deputy Fenewald. There's a few deputies that screwed up really big. Most of them aren't there anymore. But the fact is, they held me in jail for 15 months. They stuck me with the most abusive situations that they could. They did everything they could in that jail to antagonize the situation. You come down to one person in specific who made it go on for a very long time. A woman named Mary Palominos. February 10th of this year, I wrote, I don't know how many of these kites is what they're called, I guess. I don't know how many of these I wrote about Miss Palominos. She didn't need to be mean to me. After Deputy Jungling spoke with her about it, because he heard her doing it, he was aware that it was an ongoing situation, he put a stop to it. After that, Mary Palominos was kind to me. She spoke to me like I was a person. She even listened to me bitch over the intercom probably longer than she should have. At least she doesn't get in trouble for it. But the reality of the situation is still there. All those months of abuse and antagonization at the beginning from Mary Palominos. The other deputies played off of that. My fingers are getting cold, and I gotta head somewhere, so I'm gonna end the stream here. Be safe, stay out of trouble, or don't get caught. There was a lot more I wanted to put on here. There's a lot more stuff I wanted to show you. My car got destroyed. All the evidence that was in it, gone. Thank goodness somebody here was kind enough to pay my storage while I was locked up. Because of that, there's a bunch of evidence I will still have access to. I also have to buy another computer. It's been on its last leg for 3 or 4 years. The reality of the Natalie Bollinger situation is that I was the one who was stalked, not her. The reality of the situation is, although she may not have been the one spreading those specific rumors that people were assaulting me over, she also wasn't correcting them. That's horrible. When somebody comes up to you in kindness, like Natalie did to me, as an adult, says she wants to be friends, that should be good enough. The evidence shows that Natalie wanted more and I didn't. Natalie's own words show that we never dated. We never had sex. There was no interactions like that. This place on the internet, on YouTube, want to claim that I was obsessed. That's their favorite word, obsessed. No. What I'm obsessed with is being treated like a human being treated with equality. I see a lot of minority groups shoving disabled people and the homeless to the back of the bus. I've seen lots and lots of footage of people from BLM going after homeless people after one of them rallies. Please think about this stuff. There's a lot that goes into this. Calling somebody mentally ill so that you can take away all of their rights. Shut down their voice and force them to do desperate things. That's what that does. No records at the jail there. Before February 10th versus after February 10th. When Palominos was fucking with me versus when she fucking quit. All of that needs to be recorded. All of it needs to be saved. All of it needs to be reviewed, and not by them. An outside agency needs to step in and take a look. That is what needs to happen. Anyway, I gotta make my way down to one of the places here in town. My back is killing me. My legs are killing me. My shoulders killing me. I'm hungry. I've been down to this place every single day that they've been open since I got out of jail almost 2 months ago. Well, I missed one day because I was sick. Like, I woke up vomiting and still was going to go down there, but I met one of the workers there on the way, and he said, yeah, don't go down there if you're puking. All right, I won't.